99 Nights in the Forest, Hachi, 8 feet tall. These games have something that most people find interesting, the real meaning or story behind it. So in these games I found and played, I found out they have one thing in common. They are both based on real urban legends. If you're not familiar with urban legends are, they're basically stories that people believe are true, most like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, even the Boogeyman. So I gathered these games to share with you guys and tell you all the true stories behind them and allegedly true encounters with these legends. So anyways, sit back and relax and enjoy the spooks. First, we have 99 Nights in the Forest. Now, this Roblox game exploded in popularity in the month of April, and as I'm recording this video, there are 1.4 million players on the game, and the #1 game top trending on Roblox. Now, let me go on a brief explanation on what this game is about. Now, when you first load up this game, this is what you see on your screen. Now, of course, people read the stuff on the bottom, but there's one thing that drives people's attention when you load the game. This game is based on a true story. Some details have been changed. Well, there is a true story behind it, but it's not exactly that accurate to the game, of course. Because in the true story, which happened in May 1st, 2023, 4 kids were on a plane with their mother and they decided to go on a vacation trip, but then it crashed and they end up being in the woods for like 40 days, which is pretty insane despite their age, because the youngest child that was in that plane crash was 1 year old and they survived the 40 days with the child as well. Like, I just find that insane, but if you guys want me to go deeper in depth with that, I'll make a separate video about that, just let me know. Anyways, as you load into the game, you're just sitting there in the middle of a campfire with a crafting table, and you pretty much have to run around, get resources, food, and discover the mysteries of the forest. But then you realize you have enemies, because there's these strange people wearing a skull mask with antlers on it. I presume they're deer skulls because it makes the most logical sense surrounding this game. But there's also another creature in this game that everyone is curious about if it's real or not. Now, me myself don't know what to call this thing. I just call it the deer monster. But a lot of people speculate on what this thing really is. They assume it's a Wendigo, a skinwalker, possibly something else. As you're playing the game, you can also see the cult members, or these mysterious people, worship this thing. I presume they're just an entire cult that worship this deer creature and fights beside it to protect it from the dangers of people that wander into these woods, such as myself that played the game. Freaking stupid. Alright, now let's get to the urban legend where this creature is based off of. Now, the first thing I'm gonna talk about is not deer. Well, there's like a ton of videos online saying that pretty much the creature from 99 Nights in the Forest is the not deer. But I'm gonna tell you why that's not the case. See, on the description on the cryptid wiki, the not deer is described as looking like a deer from a distance, but as one looks at it longer or gets closer, something is off. Their movements are described as being like a newborn deer, but appearing as an adult. And as you see in the game, it does move like a normal deer sometimes, but it walks on 2 feet and it knows when to cover its eyes from the light or fire. And as you see, he has claws, and the not deer is described to just be a normal deer standing on 2 legs with his eyes in front of his face, some sort of like this. So that brings me to the next creature, the Wendigo. Now, a lot of people know the Wendigo, mostly from horror movies or video games. But here's the thing that I know for a fact it's not a Wendigo. Because a Wendigo is not really a humanoid creature, it's more of a spirit. Because as you know, if you do acts of cannibalism, the Wendigo spirit possesses you and you just become an unknowingly looking creature. Something close to the Wendigos in Until Dawn. Most people know the Wendigo as looking like this, but people don't realize that that's truly not what the Wendigo looks like, because that deer skull on his head is mostly a mask for it, because underneath that mask, they mostly have a human-like face, but the deer in 99 Nights in the Forest, as you can see, he has his own unique face, unlike the Wendigo. So that's out of the question. But as I was researching about the Wendigo, I found out an urban legend that matches the description perfectly to the deer creature and 99 Nights in the Forest. The Deer Man. Now, the Deer Man is a cryptid, which is also like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, etc. And this legend actually originates in folklore of North America, and there's been many quote-unquote sightings of this Deer Man reported from several US states. Now, as you can see in this photo here, people will see this and just assume that that's a Wendigo, where that's what everyone thinks the Wendigo looks like. Now, as you look here with a Wendigo, this is the original photo of the Wendigo, and as you can see, it just looks like a human, but a little bit uncanny looking. But like I said, the Wendigo is a spirit. It doesn't really have its own body. But when I look at the Deer Man, he does have its own body, and he looks pretty dang similar to the deer creature. Let me explain. See, if you guys look in the deer creature in the game, as you can see, he does kind of have a humanoid-like torso when he's coming at you. See, when deers are standing on 2 feet, their legs are kind of close up to their torso, not really sticking out like this as a human. And the Deer Man is known to be a hybrid animal, an antlered head, a human torso, similar to those of a man, just by you could tell by his torso and his arms. But the arms, of course, is not really that human, but that's the cryptid part about this creature. And I actually found a report about a supposed sighting of the Deer Man, and I just want to read this real quick. This actually took place in 2012 in National Wildlife Refuge in Oklahoma. So this reads, I quote,
"A man named Kyle Hedling was out with his friends photographing the night sky when a number of wild animals, including both elk and bison, rushed past, giving off the impression that they were attempting to escape from something lurking in the nearby forest. Unsettled by these turn of events, the men packed up their gear and began to retreat to their vehicle when a sudden rustling in the long grass caused them to bring their rifles to bear. Kyle and his companion were about to drive off when a deer man emerged from the shadows, and it began to lurch towards them. By now terrified, the 2 men hit the accelerator and sped off as fast as they could manage."
Now, I could only find 2 images kind of close to the one in the game, but as you can see here, the description is pretty close. Human-like torso, the antlered head, eyes facing forward, deer legs. I think that's pretty close, you guys. Don't you think? Now, to this day, there hasn't been any sightings, but the one I just read was in 2012, so that's the most recent one I could find. But I wonder if people still believe in this creature. I didn't even know this creature existed until I learned about it, but all people say now is that this thing is a mere urban legend.
Commercial break!
Please tell me you guys subscribe, because I really love if you did, because to be honest, this video took a very long time to make. Now, the next game we have here is Hachi, 8 feet tall. The reason why I picked this game is because the urban legend the game was based on spooked the heck out of me when I was younger, which I'll get to later. Now, this game was developed by Mendo on itch.io and it released in July 11th, 2025. 20 days ago as I'm recording this. Now, as I played this game, at first glance, this game gives me mad, creepy Silent Hill vibes, which the developer said in the description of his game. Anyways, quick explanation on the game. You play as a girl named Miyu. At the start of the game, she gets a box of old photos she has collected. As she looks through them, she sees a photo of a cave. She said it feels like she's been there before, and she remembers her grandpa saying that the cave was forbidden. Suddenly, her heart raises, and all of a sudden, she has a strong urge to find out the real reason why this cave was forbidden. We then cut to the next day, and she arrives, but something doesn't feel right. She feels like this place seems off somehow. She brushes it off, making her way to her grandpa's lake, but as she's heading there, she hears a strange sound. As she looks around, she sees a figure. As the figure gets closer, she realizes it's a woman, a very, very tall woman. As the woman gets closer, she blacks out, but then she wakes up, surprisingly at her grandma's house. After explaining to her grandma what she saw, her grandma abruptly cuts her off and tells her to wait. She then leaves the room, but then she comes back with something in her hands. She says it's purified salt, and then she tells her, no matter what you hear, or no matter who calls your name, do not leave this room. Then she leaves the room. Now you just sit there, confused, wondering what the heck is going on. After some time passes, Miu looks around the room, looking for something to somehow use the bathroom, but then she hears her grandma asking for help through the door. But then the shadow of the same tall woman from earlier shows up. After that, her real grandma shows up and then briefly tells her that she's been cursed. He tells her to go back to the forest and perform a ritual to purify herself from this curse. She tells her to perform this ritual at the same lake she was originally going to go to before stopping by the cave, and she must say these exact words during the ritual.
Cleanse my soul, purifies me of evil.
The next day, she heads straight to the lake to perform the ritual, but strangely, the bell she needs to perform the ritual is gone. Soon, she hears the bell coming from somewhere. She then turns around and realizes that a strange, blue-looking fox has the bell. After seeing the fox, she decides to chase it, and after chasing it for quite some time, the fox leads her to the cave that her grandpa always talked about. With no other choice, she grabs the torch and heads inside the cave. After some time exploring and finding some strange ruins inside the cave, she finds the bell and runs her way back to the lake. And as she's running back, she hears a man screaming. As she walks closer to the noise, she sees the woman again, but it looks like she's absorbing the life out of him. Then after that, she disappears in thin air. Freaked out by what just happened, she runs to the lake, but as she's running there, she's being tormented by the woman. After finally making it to the lake, she starts performing the ritual, but after so much stress over everything that just happened and being chased by some sort of ghost, she forgets what to say during the ritual, and then she is killed. Now, this urban legend, in my opinion, is the second most scariest one I learned about in my life. If you want to know my number one scariest, I'll probably let you know in another video. Anyways, this 8 feet tall woman goes by many names, but the most known is Hachi Sakusama. I hope I said that right first try. And when I mean that people call her by many names, people also call her the 8 feet tall lady, Entity 09, and the Slender Woman. Now, when it comes to appearance, she's described as very tall, approximately 8 feet tall. And she has very long black hair reaching all the way down to her waist, and said to be wearing a large straw hat with no shoes. When it comes to her face, she is mostly depicted as a very beautiful woman, except when it comes to her eyes, which are very, very soulless, unlike her smile. Very creepy. Now let's get what she's known for: kidnapping. You see, she is mostly known for abducting children. It's unknown why, but I speculate it's because children are easier to take advantage of than adults. It's been said that she will stalk a child for a few days or even months, and when the time is right, she takes them. Now, there are apparently no sightings of her because people that have seen her were never seen again, except when it comes to the lucky ones. See, it's very rare when the 8 feet tall woman will let the victims go. I couldn't find anything more about that in my research, so that's pretty much all I know. And it's also been told that she has the ability to mimic other human beings to blend in with other humans. To possibly find more children to abduct, it's unclear, but it's also been told that she has many other abilities, which we also see in the game, such as voice mimicry, levitation, even telekinesis. It's unknown how far this legend goes back, but it's been said to go back many generations. But the reason why so much people know about this woman is because back in 2008 on a Japanese web board, and I tried finding this website, but it got taken down many years ago. Anyways, an anonymous user described his encounter in 1998 of seeing the tall woman at his grandma's house. Sadly, that's the most I could find about the story while I was doing my research, but he also says this woman is very similar to another urban legend called
Takauna.
I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize for that. I don't want to explain too much of who this urban legend is, maybe in a separate video, but it's been said that it's another woman with extremely long legs, and she's been said to look through windows of brothels and laugh at prostitutes of what they're doing. I'm not going to go too deep on that in this video, but if you guys want to make a separate video on it, just let me know. But despite all of this, till this day, there are no sightings or encounters with this 8 feet tall woman. But maybe people that do encounter her just don't live to tell the tale. Welcome guys to the outro. Yeah, I hate this part because I hate to see you guys go. Anyways, y'all, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. This video took a month to make. This is a brand new editing style of mine, so that's why it took so long. But next time, it won't take as long. Now, if you guys want to make another video similar to this or something else you guys might like, just let me know in the comment section below, or just leave a sub because that would mean the world to me. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Peace out and see you next time.